Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, got a huge Blazer update, kind of a compilation of a bunch of videos over the past year. Lockers, crossover steering, wiring harnesses, and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, stay tuned. Okay guys, so we're back working on the Blazer again. So this kind of turned out to be kind of one of those projects that starts with I'm just going to do one thing and then it turns into like 10 things. So anyway, this one's kind of more like just the diary, so not so much of a how-to. But anyway, the Dana 60 and Dana 70 in here have open diffs, and I'd really like to get some kind of traction devices in them. Then I decided to kind of refinish everything, so you can kind of check it out over here. I went through and kind of refinished everything, got all the rust off, made this thing look brand new underneath. And then I decided, you know what? While we're here, let's go ahead and do the steering. So put in the two-wheel drive steering box, and we're going to do crossover steering. So over here on the table, I got a crossover steering kit from ORD. Looks really good, so that's going to go in now. And then I also did the spring eliminator kit for the Dana 60. The ORD kit looks like it comes with a new pitman arm. Of course, the passenger side top, some hardware, tie rod ends, and then it came with a threaded drag link right. Yeah, it's great. Let's see, so inside the stock one, you have just this massive spring and a little retainer. We're just going to discard the old white bushing because we don't need that anymore. Now I have a new white bushing, some heavy duty synthetic grease to line up the notch. So we're going to put a little bit of a thread locker on here with our new stud. These, if you want to adjust the preload, they say that it's basically like once it's on there, you want about 25 pounds of force to turn this. And you can adjust it and get more with the washers. Just use a little bit of isopropyl, clean up the area. Let it cone side down. Install the nut. Just going to slowly draw it down. All right, so now we've installed our kingpin eliminator. I'll go ahead and let RTV kind of set up a little bit before I torque it down. This side's actually broken, so I'm glad we're getting a new plastic one. Now we're going to do something a little different on this side. So here's the piece we came off. Obviously you can see that this had the attachment for the steering arm. Well, since we're doing crossover steering, we don't need this. So either A, we can cut this off and put this back on, or B, I can just use the cap from the other side to have a much cleaner install look over here. So I've cleaned up the gasket. We're going to remove these studs and just kind of install this like as if it was the passenger side. A little bead of RTV on there. All right, I guess we want to grease it from the inside because of the wheels. So this one's actually not as hard to turn. So I wonder if that means we probably need to put in a washer. If you need washers, they just go right on top. Then we're going to reinstall this. So now it's time to get out the torque wrench, and these things are done. Now we'll just finish off the install with a new filling of grease. So back on this side, instructions say to loosen and tighten these about 3 times, which we did. And then final torque goes down to 110 foot-pounds. Front, since I'm only going to be using it obviously when you're off-roading and not around town, I went ahead and did a just a lunchbox style locker in the Dana 60 up front. And then the rear, we'll go into that more later. It's turned out to be like a nightmare to find one because in the back I have a Dana 70 3HD, which is not a Dana 70 HD. It's not a Dana 70 Super. It's not any of those. It's some weird abstract one that nobody makes one except for, I guess, Detroit made one, I think, because it has like a 31/32 pinion offset and like a weird carrier size. Anyway, I think I found one. So we'll see when that gets here. All right, so now we've got our Spartan locker installed in the front Dana 60. Time to go back in the car. Now we just clean up the gasket area. Now we can reinstall the diff assembly. Now we just throw out our gauge. I'm just simply going to check the backlash. Let's go ahead and apply a little RTV. Now, I believe this diff cover is actually made in the USA, but they sell it right on Amazon, which is actually kind of cool. I'll put a link to it in the description for you guys if you're curious. Set this on low just to get them started. All right, so now just barely finger tighten these. We'll let that RTV set up for about 20 minutes and then we'll torque that down. Back to the front axle. So I put all the bearings and brakes back on. Like you see, everything now is beautifully refinished. We got a new cover with a lock right in there. So now we are to install the rest of the ORD shackle flip. So already we've installed the arm over here. So now we simply need to put on the new pitman arm. I did have to buy a bolt. This came from Amazon. That's the part number, the Lars 179. Torque it down on here because the old, you can't use the four-wheel drive one. It uses like a clamp, not a bolt. So I've already gone in there and made sure that we have, it looks like I think it's 1 3/4 turn one way, 1 3/4 turn the other way, and now we're back to center. So that puts the pitman arm basically pointing exactly back at the driver, and it'd be nice to be able to use impact on this. But the leaf springs right here. Instead, we're going to use 1 5/16 socket. All right, so we're going to torque to 192 foot-pounds. I have the steering wheel at full lock, so the steering wheel is not taking the force. It's the steering box that's holding it in place. In case you're wondering, I did get the steering box from Amazon, actually. It was cheapest from them. Warranty, no digging through any junkyards. Mostly because the ones at junkyards are really old now. One is a right thread, the other one is left thread. So I'm just going to go ahead and go straight to 10 turns on each one. All right, let's see how well this guy fits. That hole, and that seems way short, huh? All right, so we're going to loosen this just a few turns. Slide it into place, and then we'll take a look at our alignment. So you can see our bar clears our hoses. It doesn't really clear our turbo kit too well. All right, so I finally got the drag link installed. I ran into a couple issues. The main issue was it comes out here, goes straight and contacted here, then it makes a 30-degree bend down and a 30-degree bend back over to this side. So I ended up taking this off, and the plan was to try to fix this by clearancing it. But the only problem is this arm swings around too much over here, so I didn't have enough room to bring the pipe in here. So the pipe really needed to stay in the same spot, and there's really only about a finger you could go up. So I kind of was out of options for this. So what I ended up doing was like rebent this rod. So I ended up taking out this bend. I heated it up to about 500 degrees. Don't know if that helped. Took out this bend and reduced this bend to about a 15 degree. And now that gives me plenty of room, you know, almost 2.5 fingers right here and plenty of room all the way across. The only thing is it does angle this a bit. So I tested this to figure out how far before it binds. Basically, the suspension can come down a whole foot before that will bind. So I think that is plenty of room. It can also go up about 8 inches before it hits these. And so that's the next thing on here. So I bought all brand new lines to go back from our 700 R4 to the front, and we'll run them up here by the frame rail so they're completely out of the way down here. That's where we are. So now we just got to tighten everything down, cotter pin them, and this thing should be done. Brand new cotter pin. Okay, so front axle is back all together, front steering, everything is done. What you haven't seen is this video has actually been going on for about 3 months now. Over here is our probably attempt number 4 at trying to get a rear locker, limited slipper or something in there. So I tried 3 different Detroit lockers and they didn't work. All just the wrong size, wouldn't fit. Ring gear basically is in the wrong spot. So basically what it comes down to, when you put these together, this is 2 1/8 inches high, so you need to find a carrier that has 2 1/8. Well, almost all of them are somewhere around 2 1/2. So basically there's just no room for adjustment to actually make these fit. So I ended up going with this guy named Carl Jantz, really smart guy, and he said you can put a Dana 80 carrier in there. So this is a Dana 80 TruTrack, which is actually what I prefer over a Detroit for the rear. So this is a Dana 80 TruTrack. The only difference that makes it not work is these bolts are 1/2-inch bolts, and a Dana 80 uses 9/16 bolts. So he sells these little sleeves that go in the bolts so you can use the ring gear. But the ring gear bolt's right on there, and it uses the same carrier bearings. So right now we're going to go and press on the new bearings. I got a brand new set of GM ones here. I'd say one of the best benefits to one of the Dana 7s, it has the sliding carrier adjuster, so you don't have to shim anything here. Otherwise you got to take the bearings on, off, on, off. All right, so now it's time to put the ring gear on here. One thing that's crazy about this thing, it literally probably weighs twice as much as the stock one does. It is crazy how heavy this thing is compared to the stock one. This thing weighs like, feels like 60 pounds. Now I just have it set in there, but guess what? It fits. We got plenty of room here. The ring gear's lined up. So now I'm just gonna take these off so we can adjust the carrier spindles and get our backlash set. So now we can just go ahead and set up our backlash by spinning these around. I'm just using a screwdriver because I don't have any other tools. All right, so now I got the gear set up over here, so you can see that we got right at 10 thousandths of an inch play, and then I've cranked these down just basically as tight as they'll go, and that kind of gave it the preload that it needs. All right, so the last piece of this puzzle was the axle shaft. So here are the two original shafts. You can see that the driver's side is longer. It is 40.3 inches long. The passenger side is like 39.7 inches long or something like that. You can kind of see exactly how much it's engaged into the previous differential. So it's exactly 1 inch of engagement. So what happens is when we put these axle shafts in there with the new carrier, the longer one fits fine on both sides. It gets about 1.5 inches on the driver's side engagement. But when I put this one in on the passenger side, it literally only engages about 1/4 inch, which obviously is not going to work. So the problem is finding another one of these has been an issue, but I actually did find one that works. So roll in axle shaft 3. This one is 40 inches long, so not 40.3, 40 inches. It gets a full 1.1 inches of engagement. And the best part is this one was brand new, only cost me 40 bucks. So anyway, we now have the axle shafts we need. I'll put the part number in the description of what the part number this is.
So crossover steering is not a new thing. It's literally been around for decades, but I'm telling you, if you haven't done it yet, you need to do it. It makes your truck just so much better to drive. So just practically wise, turning is now just a breeze. The turning radius is much improved. When you're driving down the highway and you hit a bump, the truck doesn't swerve everywhere. The steering's so much more precise now. So like you've seen people are like, oh, look at all the play in the steering wheel. That play is significantly reduced and almost gone. But even most importantly, when you're off-roading, if that left tire drops down, like when you're articulating, you'll lose all steering if you don't have crossover steering.
Okay, so if you made it to this part of the video, thank you very much. So this is just kind of a recap and kind of a look at the Blazer and where we've come so far. Kind of recap, besides the whole restoring. In this video, we did axles front and rear, totally refinished them both, put a TruTrack in the rear and a lunchbox style locker in the front. And like I said, kind of went through, redid all new bearings and everything like that. Redid the kingpins in both of them. Also, crossover steering and ORD kit makes it so much easier to drive, like I just covered a few moments ago. So here we go, underneath the engine bay, you can kind of see the new wiring harness. So basically, everything was just jacked up over like literally like 30, 40 years worth of just people messing around with it and splicing stuff. So I took out all the splices, ran new wires for basically everything. So some big old huge gauge, I think these are 0W or 02 battery leads. Redid all the wires that come into the box that go to the starter and you know, over to our main power bus. Out of the power bus, again, these are all like I forget what they're called, but marine grade copper wire. And kind of what prompted this was, honestly, it was getting kind of hard to start. So I went through and I was looking at all the wires that were going to the glow plugs. The shielding was coming off, they were really corroded. So I went through and just did heavier gauge wire on everything. And this thing starts up so much better than it did before. So really happy with this. Like you see in my last video, we did the Petless Explorer tires with the 24 bolt Hummer rims on there to upgrade from the old bent 12 bolts that I had on there before. Anyway, this Blazer, I believe, is kind of ready to go. The next video I'd like to do is just actually take this out and do some wheeling. Now in Florida, there's a lot of mud around here. To actually get to a place where you can do some trail and rock crawling is a little bit kind of far away, but I'm hoping to set up a trip this summer and just kind of see how this thing does. I think I've got it reliably where I want. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and more Blazer videos coming up. Stay tuned.